What's going on, Colts Nation? Appreciate you joining me for today's video. This one going to be a little bit of a quicker one, just a little evening video here. But I just want to talk a little bit about franchise tags. We know that this week is the first week of franchise tag of 2 weeks, started on Tuesday. It's going to end on March 5th, I believe. And as of today, as of Saturday, February 24th, right around 5 o'clock, the only person that's been franchise tagged is T. Higgins. And he's going to be on the franchise tag. The Bengals informed him on Friday that they were going to be tagging him. And that's huge news because that's a lot of what we've been talking about. And a lot of people have said that T. Higgins would end up being on the tag. We had talked about T. Higgins probably ending up on the tag. And it does end up happening. So this is one of those moves that's going to drastically change what the Colts do in their offseason, right? This is kind of what we talked about. There are different guys that could get tagged that are going to change what the Colts do now. The other update to go along with this conversation is the update in the cap number. The official cap number for 2024 for every team is $255.4 million, which is a 13% increase. It's kind of what we had mentioned a few weeks ago. Pretty much every year it's going up about 20%. It's a little less than that this year at 13%, but still going up 13% up to $255.4 million. And when you look at the Colts cap number, there were different numbers leading up to this point. I got to give some credit to Over the Cap, that's where I was looking at the cap number at one point, and it said, I can't remember exactly what it said, but it was between 72 and 73 million, whereas some other places were saying that the Colts were going to have right around $67 million in cap space. So it's not like it's a huge jump from that number, but having more money in the cap is having more money, and the Colts get $72.3 million in cap space is the official number going into the offseason, and that's the sixth most in the NFL this offseason. So they got a lot of money to spend. T. Higgins not going to be one of them. So this changes a lot of things, right? With T. Higgins off the board, does that mean Michael Pittman Jr. is going to get the franchise tag next? Does that mean Michael Pittman Jr. is going to get a new deal next with T. Higgins off the board? Or maybe T. Higgins and Michael Pittman Jr. both get the franchise tag, and maybe we're having a lot of these same conversations next season. Which one of these guys are we going to get? Do we get both of them? And obviously that's going to depend on what happens in the draft this year. And do the Colts take another receiver? How does that situation go? So there's a lot that can still happen. T. Higgins, for the moment, off the board, going to be paying a lot of attention to the rest of these franchise tags, going to be paying attention to any news that comes out about the Colts. And as we continue to get closer to that March 5th deadline for franchise tags, that's when it starts to get a little nerve-wracking. Are we going to have Pitt or are we not going to have Pitt? Though that's really what we're watching for at this point is when do we find out whether or not Michael Pittman Jr. is going to be a Colt or not? When do we find out whether or not he's actually going to test free agency? So we'll see what happens there. I assume once the combine starts this upcoming week and the Colts get a chance to really look at some different guys, then maybe they'll decide to do something at that point. And at the moment, I think our best option is going to be to re-sign Michael Pittman Jr. Just go ahead, get him the contract, get him for a few years. Let's get that done. So that's what I'm thinking should happen. But of course, I'm going to keep paying attention to this situation. Any updates that happen, I'll let you guys know. So make sure you subscribe with notifications on so you get notified when any videos come out. And of course, I appreciate you stopping by for another video. And as always, take care of yourself. Take care of each other, and go Colts.